OEMs love ClearPath TMS auto transport software platform for its AI-AG vehicle inspections, EDI integration, and full business operations capabilities. You can learn more with Aaron Korff, president of ClearPath TMS, as we talk about auto transport software on ATI Auto Business. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to Industry Logistics on ATI Auto Business, where everyone learns more about the automotive industry. Do me a favor, jump in the live chat, say hello, copy, share YouTube link. Hello, YouTube. Hello, LinkedIn. Do me a favor. Please help me wish a very warm welcome to my co-host on Thursdays, Sue.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you? Well, kind of okay, I guess.
Yeah? What's on your mind? What's going on?
Oh,
Let her
yeah.
rip. Really?
Central dispatch.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, that's okay.
Still problems.
Okay. All right. Okay, fair. Let's do this. All right. Well, yeah. All right. What we're going to do today is hello, Central Dispatch, by the way. Okay. All right. Shout out. Today's show is OEMs love ClearPath TMS. This is a big deal. You know, automakers, right? Listen, why is everybody in this automotive industry? Because of automakers.
Right.
And if you can make them happy, let me tell you something. That's a big deal. How many OEM guys do you see wandering the halls of ATI? All right? It is not easy to speak their language, make them happy, and but ClearPath does it. ClearPath TMS does do that, and I know if you're in auto transport software, you want to make OEMs happy. Well, ClearPath does it. So you're going to learn more about ClearPath TMS. We're going to see more of Aaron on the channel. Really cool. Shout out ClearPath TMS. This is the logo, ClearPath TMS. And, you know, we see this where we have, you know, mobile app and desktop application. But Aaron he's been around and he knows his stuff. So he's on the show. He's our interview today. Again, ATI is where everyone learns more about how the automotive industry works. If you're not interested in learning, this isn't a good channel for you. We're not all up in the drama of what he said, she said, and at the gas station slapped his brother-in-law's sister, whatever. We don't do that here. All right, so what we do here, though, is we actually talk about progress. I gotta say, show 360 in a row on a Tuesday was Central Dispatch on ATI. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
You can let your marketing department know that really happened. That's a big deal. So, you know, Joe Keekler, he is the Senior Vice President of Digital Inventory and Supply Chain Solutions at Cox Automotive. He was the feature interview Tuesday night, and then in the panel we had Lainey Sybil. She works operations at Central Dispatch. And Eric Schwartz, you know him, head of product at Cox Automotive. This was really a great show, and it was an opportunity to talk about Central Dispatch's transformation, continuing with the revamped platform. Now, before, Jay, you get all excited, you sound like you're selling something. I'm not. I'm in the middle. But I am trying to help. They have a new marketplace. They have an enhanced dashboard. They have a new carrier mobile app, dispatch experience, API integrations. That's a lot of stuff. But ATI is the neutral zone. We're here to help. It doesn't matter. I know you've seen videos. Maybe you saw something you didn't like. Well, you know what? You can't please all the people all the time. But when you're the neutral zone, you got to take some shots. You know, I see the fancy slogans. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Be yourself and all this stuff. Boy, oh boy, is it tough doing it. It's one thing to say it. It's another to walk the walk. Man, people just don't like it when you don't start walking, especially if you start running. I'll go ahead and pat myself on the back. 16,000 subscribers.
Awesome.
I know. Which
That's
means
great.
I just lost several to drop back under 16,000. There we go. I know. They're good. You know, it really is exciting. All right. Know your ecosystem. I just had a meeting with a guy yesterday, and he actually is an OEM guy. And I said, hey, is this right? OEM dealer, auction, logistics, remarketing, recon, compliance, and tech? He said, yes, Jay. Spot on. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So, and he was like, yeah, you haven't worked in automotive? Well, I mean, you know, as a dispatcher, if that counts. Tuesday's automotive ecosystem. Geez, Jay, okay, there's a lot of ATI information. When are you going to talk about central dispatch? Before we do, do you still have room?
Yep, I have a spot. Yep.
Okay, I had a guy message me through, I think it was Instagram. He said he emailed, but he didn't hear back. I told him to tune in, say hello in the live chat.
Was his name Eric?
I don't know. Was it Raymond?
I talked. Well, I've been emailing a guy named Eric, but that was the only other person.
It seems like there's always more than one carrier kind of lurking that needs a call back. And I never know how much. You know what I never know is how urgent are we talking?
Right.
Like, do you want to talk to somebody right now? And I mean, you know what I think about in life? When I ask for something, isn't it urgent?
Yeah, typically, yeah.
Right.
If you want it right then. I mean, we're not a patience people for sure.
No, we're not. So, if you need to talk to Sue, 417, it's right on your screen, 417-273-0021, call. You may talk to somebody else in your office.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But essentially, you are trying to get to information. Tell them what you need.
And you can always,
what do you
my
want?
cell
Yeah.
phone number, if you want to text me, it's 417-255-6230.
Let me get that again. Text Sue.
417
Uh-huh.
255
Uh-huh.
6230.
Uh-huh.
Because sometimes my emails may go into spam, and I'll be honest, I don't always check, and sometimes I check a week later and I find them. So
Me
it's
too.
like, yeah.
I feel terrible.
Yeah.
When I see an Instagram from a week ago, from a month ago, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, where were you? And the Facebook, man, that's not even monitored.
Right. No.
Yeah, I know.
I very rarely, what's weird is, how you're supposed to get the instant things come up. I never get them. I have to find them later on that someone contacted me, and I don't know.
Well, and then it's full of,
crap.
filthy spam. My gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
that too.
The eye-opening.
Okay, just a moment,
Okay,
please.
let's keep going. So here we go. So last week's show, carrier owes the broker how much. That was really great having Charles on the show. Shout out
Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Really appreciate Charles. Oh, good. Aaron is waiting in the wings. Aaron will be with you in about 15 to 20. Now, I don't have a truck, but I do have a comment.
Okay.
Has anyone fixed the issue? I can't get RMIS to answer the phone.
Number.
Gee,
It's 334.
we'd never heard of that problem.
RMIS, let me see. I may have somebody.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. I have
Yeah, see if you do.
let me see.
What's going on, live chat? Oh, good. Okay, so Navina, let's see. Navina Petrovich says hello.
Hey.
And she wants to learn more. Her and her boyfriend I think they're going to Chicago. And this one is also, Sue, this one's for you.
Okay.
We're going to talk about starting up a company, buying a truck, renting a 5-car trailer. We want to talk about that, okay?
Okay.
Let's see here. So we got RMIS, we got 5-car, and what else we got here in the live chat? Sandwich making with Beeb. Good vibes. That's cool.
I also have a lady's name
Elena.
over at truckstop.com for customer support.
You do? So
I do.
Yeah.
Her name is
Okay.
Dolores.
Okay,
Now
so
this-
this is, let me put this in the live chat. We got Dolores.
And she's customer support over at Truckstop. And her phone number, it's an 800 number,
Hang on
so
one
I don't know
second.
how it works. But
Hang on
it's
one second.
888
RMIS 888, okay?
643
643
8174.
8174.
And
So
I
Dolores-
also have her email. I don't want to blast her like that. So
Yeah.
if you want it, email me. I'll get it to you. How about
Okay,
that?
so let's do Dolores with customer service at truck stop.
Yep.
Truck stop RMIS 888-643-8174.
Yep.
And for the email, you can ask Sue.
Yeah. Just get hold of me.
And what do we got here? Eladio, one last thing: the auto hauler ecosystem is missing FMCSA and DOT in your door. So they fall under compliance, actually. But thank you. FMCSA and DOT I consider in the compliance bucket.
Yeah.
But that's a good call. Keep letting me know, because I don't want to miss anything. It's a pretty big ecosystem. All right, and RMIS. Why is somebody calling RMIS?
To sign up for different companies.
Oh, okay, right, because you want to get signed up as a carrier with a broker, and they're trying to vet you, and RMIS is an independent carrier vetting.
Yes, and they also keep track of your insurance if it's been, good, bad, or ugly.
Right.
And I know that Metro uses them. RPM uses them, right?
Yep.
Right, Metro.
RPM.
I think it's in our top 20,
United
right?
Road.
There was a couple.
United Road has switched to them as well.
United Road, wow. And so, doesn't it suck when the gatekeeper doesn't answer the gate?
Well, yeah, because
Dude, come on, man.
they're having the same
Please.
problems we have when we try to sign up regularly. They're still having problems signing up.
And I know that. Well, this is one of, and this actually came up with Central Dispatch. Is that, people need your help, right? They need it now, and the thing is that, and Cameron Reed. Thanks, Cameron. My Carrier Packets is also a good one. There's Freight Validate, Trusted, without an E, Trust D. So there's a few.
He's
All right. Cool. Hey, did you get the memo?
No.
Well, here it is. Trucking company owner pleads guilty to falsifying logs. Remember that motorcycle crash?
I saw this the other day too. I was like,
yeah, I shared this Tuesday night. Yeah, I mean, no surprise. Nobody's surprised. He's not surprised. The jury's not surprised.
Hi, Jim. This is
Nobody's
Janice
surprised.
with Murphy Auto Transport.
And essentially,
It was on
So
her
the moral of the
show,
story is,
and
if you
she-
falsify your logs and shit goes really bad, it goes really, really bad. And in fact,
Oh,
we're going to bring in
so you're just
Brian
gonna text her?
September 12th. On Thursday, September 12th. That could be 2 weeks from today. I think it is.
Okay.
No. Is it 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Some number of weeks, Brian will be here.
Okay.
Okay.
Trucking expert witness.
Okay.
Oh my God, we got to talk about owners and drivers and
I
how
can
they
get
do
your
business
quote
with
here.
brokers and dealers. What is going on here?
So there's a particular company that
Okay.
Company X.
Give me 1 second.
yes, that believes
Okay.
that they can do and say whatever they want to brokers, to shippers, to everybody, and that they're not responsible for damage claims because that would be the dealership's problem that they didn't secure something. Anyways, but here's the thing. In this business, whether they're good, bad, or ugly, you're going to eventually come across this person again. And you got to act the right way if you want to stay in business. I know people think that they can act a certain way and they're going to be able to keep doing this, but there are rules that we're supposed to follow, that we sign contracts that say you must do an inspection, you must do this with the customer, things like that. As a driver, we don't get to make up what rules we want and how we're going to do things. But I keep coming across a couple different people that think that's the way it works, and it's not, because you're just going to run yourself out of business. Eventually that happens because you didn't pick up when you wanted to. Literally, I was told I didn't pick it up because I didn't feel like it. And I don't care what the broker says. I'll do what I want when I want. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. That's just one instance of it. Then I've had other stuff where there was a damage claim and they didn't tie down. It was a tunnel cover. Tunnel cover came off. Well, they didn't strap it down. It's not my fault. But it is. We're still all responsible for taking care of these vehicles as if they're our own, if you really want to look at it that way. Because when it gets to the final destination and if there's a damage claim, we're going to be responsible for it. every time. So, I mean, that was my complaint.
Well,
We have
I'm
to be
glad you shared it.
professional and we have to do what we're supposed to do as far as contracts go and stuff like that. And you can't make up your own rules in this game. It doesn't work like that.
What I think what's surprising is the way that some, I don't know if it's the driver, if the carrier, the owner talks to people. Just like super like cowboy up rude.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to the Cowboys, but it's like, what the heck are you? I mean, this is not an AC/DC concert. you are moving somebody's car. Sorry, AC/DC. I'm sure Angus Young is really upset or whatever. Okay, now I hear that. Are you working right now? Now I don't hear you.
Now do you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
I can never tell if it's on or off.
I know. I do. Listen, same thing happens to me. Andre is here too. Hey, Andre. All right, let's keep moving. Because everybody's like, yeah, you're preaching to the choir. We already know that. We're professionals. That's why we're here watching ATI. And you know, when Sue's telling that story, I'm like, did that guy see my show where I said, welcome to Auto Transport, you can do whatever you want? And he said, well, there you go. You can do it. But I say it because apparently you can. Not because you should.
I think, yeah, exactly. Some people think they can.
For example.
Okay, sounds great.
And oh.
So
I got that one too.
You did.
Okay.
All right, listen. I'm sharing this because this is tough stuff. I'm almost positive I've lost friends because I continue to tell the truth on a regular basis. Listen, it's not that there are a lot of people thinking it, but almost nobody will report it as news. This is news. If you're offering food instead of money, think about it. How is that being received? I mean, that's nice. But is it Applebee's? Because I'd rather have some money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it. It's true. Everybody's thinking it. You know, I'll go to camera one on this. You know, I have seen, I don't know how many times I see, like, I just saw in the past week, some moment of appreciation for whoever, which is probably people that have tons of money and don't need the appreciation, but a moment of appreciation, these giant trays of food. And I mean, they're going to get, the 10% of that tray is going to get eaten. What happens to the 90% of the tray of food? Probably gets thrown out or whatever.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know, I'm going to say this. Here, I'm going to really drive it home. I'm going to drive it home and say this, is that in Hollywood, okay, the stars, the A-listers, the 20 million a movie people, when they walk the red carpet, all the brands want them wearing their brand. Right. So they get all these free goodie bags of like watches and purses and crap, and they don't need it. They got more money than God. The people with more money than God are the ones that get most of the freebies.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy that is getting an Applebee's coupon, he really needs the other $50. Really, really bad. It's literally going to decide whether or not he pays a minimum on a bill that's already late. He doesn't need a corner of a tray of food.
No.
And there I said it. I mean, I'm sorry to bring the bad news. I didn't know that Speaking Truth Weekly would be so damn controversial. In the automotive industry, this is the industry of cool. That's a line from the movie, not Good Will Hunting. It's the one where the kid's a rock rider. But there's something with the automotive industry. Everybody just wants to be cool and hold hands in public. But that's not how anybody really spends their free time. I don't know what happened, man. This must be why drivers can't get ahead. It's an industry of cool, and drivers aren't cool. There I said it. Right? Charles did it. And Charles, man, Charles is a great example of, he is trying to do a great job. He is trying to serve his customer.
Yeah.
And he feels like he's getting crapped on.
I'm pretty sure most transporters feel that way.
Nobody wants to hear from the transporter.
No.
No, they don't. No, stop. Jay, stop the show. Please, you're killing us. Bring out the likes and the puppies. Okay. All right. Having fun? Now, Ryan was thinking, I love it when people are thinking off camera. If you had to take a wild guess, how many cars would you say are transported on a daily basis? Awesome question. If you had to take a wild guess, how many cars would you say are transported on a daily basis?
Wow.
Let's talk about that before I go to my answer. I kind of showed it, but it doesn't matter. It's a guess. I mean, how many cars in North America? In North America, so here's the stage. In North America, each day, for any reason, how many cars are transported a day? This is hard.
Well, I don't know what the answer was, and I'm still flabbergasted by that.
It's hard. New, used, repo, POV, fleet, auction.
You're talking about cars shipping
dealer
too?
to dealer. Any reason a car is shipped. Now, not towed. Towing doesn't count.
Okay.
But flatbed, wedge, high rail,
Wow.
Carvana flatbed. Now, okay, when Carvana buys your car, that does that count? That's on the. Does a flatbed taking your car to Carvana, does that count as car hauling? See, and this is actually, I think it actually does. This is actually where
You're talking about like the final destination? Is that what you mean?
Well, let's just stay broad with it.
Okay.
But I mean, new cars, auction cars, dealer-to-dealer trades, POV, fleet management companies, repo. How many cars are transported a day? This is actually hard. So I'll share what I said. I'm like, well, it's maybe between 1,000 and 10,000 cars a day. And then as I thought about it, there could be 20,000 car days nationwide, going from the plant to the dealer. This actually is a pretty wild one. And you know what's really cool, crazy, interesting, whatever, pick an adjective, is I don't think that information is free. I don't think you can actually get that number for free. I don't know. Maybe you Google how many cars are transported a day. See what happens there. Somebody, please Google how many cars are transported a day. Let me know what you got. I don't even know. Sal is here. What's going on, Sal? Oh, Sal was really active Tuesday night. Thanks, Sal. Listen, I really do pride myself on hosting the only open neutral zone in not only automotive, but specifically transportation logistics. I appreciate your comments Tuesday night. But I'm always looking for specifics. One of my requirements is to actually get specific info. Just rhetoric doesn't really cut it with me. I don't know why. I was born sideways. Leverage ATI in your business. I don't ship cars, I move information. Sue does have room for a carrier if you need a dispatcher. If you just want to give her a call and talk about why dispatching isn't illegal. She's up for it. You up for that? She'd rather do that live. Go to ATI Auto Business, get the podcast. Be one of the subscribers on the path to 17,000. See, Aaron says it gets close to 6 figures. That is some crazy stuff. Dang. What if 75,000 cars move a day? This is why somebody, you know what's happening, Sue? Right now, somebody's like, that's my next YouTube video. Get rich quick. 75,000 cars a day. I can't hear you again. Oh, man. So funny. What'd you say? Oh, I still can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, there you
Actually,
go.
great title. Use it.
Yeah, no, that would get rich quick in car hauling, 75,000 cars a day. Or maybe you switch it, 75,000 cars a day.
Get rich quick.
And actually, you know what? Say maybe, okay, you make $1,000 a car, $750 million a day in car hauling. Here's how.
Peanut butter on bread.
Oh,
Do me a favor, stick around. Right after this, we're going to be live. We're going to bring in Aaron Korff. We're going to talk about ClearPath TMS. Stick around. You don't want to miss it.
Are you completely stressed out from all the calls and the contracts and the verifications of loads where nobody ever answers the phone? Call Murphy Auto Dispatch Services today. Murphy Auto Dispatch Services has over 15 years in the transport industry. We are your office while you are on the road. We book, we verify, and we bill out your loads for you. We have an excellent accounting staff and an even better dispatch team. Give us a call today at 417-273-0021, or if you want to email me, it's murphyautotransport31@yahoo.com. Give us a call today.
All right, we need to brainstorm for this commercial. How do we show our audience that we're the best auto transport platform in the industry?
Oh, we need to show them our dispatch manager. Optimizing routes has never been easier.
We should definitely show them our EDI management screen. Managing contracts is simple with ClearPath's EDI toolkit. Who doesn't want to work with the big manufacturers?
These are all great ideas, but we need to highlight what makes us special.
Sure, we can talk about all our awesome features, but the bottom line is we invest in every single one of our clients, giving them the power to scale up and increase their revenue.
That's perfect.
ClearPath TMS, transportation platform provider preferred by major automakers in North America. Request a demo today. Here we go. We're going to bring in Aaron Korff. Now, Aaron, if you were watching the show, you can either mute that or shut it down. Here we go. Aaron Korff, President, ClearPath TMS. Aaron, can you see us and hear us okay?
I can see you. I can hear you. I am with you.
Right on. All right, we can see you. We can hear you. You're with us. First, we'll start with an introduction, and then we will, man, we're just going to go.
All right. So introducing myself, I'm Aaron Korff. I am the President and CEO of ClearPath TMS, an auto transport management platform. I've known Jay for many years. We met back at, I believe it was the Import-Export show for
in Baltimore, automotive logistics. Yep.
Yeah, so I've been doing auto transport software for many years, many more years than ClearPath even existed. And we just love the industry. We love the people. We love our customers, our competitors, our friends, and gonna have a good time here on the show with you.
Awesome. All right. Awesome. All right. So this is you took me back to Baltimore. Yeah. There we are in the room after the people, lots of seminars, convention, then you're talking and you're networking and you're getting a bite to eat and you're trying to sign up business and understand other verticals. And that's what we're trying to do here today with you and ClearPath is that we know, all right, let's go with what we know. Auto Transport 101. We, in general, you out there in TV land, live and on demand, and us, we know there is auto transport software. We know it because we look at load boards, right? We use a mobile app.
Right.
We think we're using a TMS. We probably are. And we may have heard of a CRM. There's auto quoting software. We need reports. And once we realize, okay, that's quite a thing, now there has to be a digital way for us to ingest client info, exchange vehicle inspections.
It's a lot.
Now, and to code this stuff is crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is not something that is done overnight. There's so many parts to the platform. I mean, you mentioned some. There's carrier onboarding, you know, driver payroll, obviously the whole work order process with the apps, the inspections, reporting, you know, the accounting level stuff. It just goes on and on. And, you know, and there's things that when we first started out, some of the things that we've conquered a long time ago were, you know, these were obstacles along the way. And I remember actually at that import-export show, I've always been annoyed a little bit by VIN decoding, right? So VIN decoding, you think it's just such an easy thing, right? And so you either, you know, manage the database yourself, you get the new patterns from the OEMs, you subscribe maybe to a third-party service. Ultimately, you end up doing like all these things to really get it right. But I remember at that show, there's a lot of OEM reps, and I remember going up to them and talking to them and being like, what is it where it's so hard to get the patterns from you guys? Like if I want to get a pattern for a BMW or from Nissan, you'd think I could call Nissan and BMW and say, hey, what are the 2025 patterns? And you couldn't ever get it. They would be more behind. Like the outbound logistics people would be further behind than us software people. And I think I kind of figured it out where, you know, when that VIN pattern's getting created in the factory, there's some, I don't know who it is, some analytics guy, bean counter, it doesn't really matter. But those guys are a few departments away from the outbound logistics guy. And really it comes down to is our carrier using our platform is the first person in the world that really needs to use that for decoding purposes. And so we're like the front line of attack. We're like when something's not decoding. And there's times where I have to say, okay, you know, you want to do some like AI thing or something, but it's more like, can you look out the window? What is it? Okay, thank you. Honda Accord, got it. What's the trim? Okay. And then it gets added in the pattern. And the biggest pattern database is Data One, JD Power, guys like this. We're giving them feedback when we don't see it VIN decoded, and then we find out what it is, and we kind of beam it to the mothership. So now it's like part of their database as well. So that was just one of the challenges. I mean, there's many, many more, obviously, once you get into the app and all the, you know, the back office stuff and everything. But that's what keeps it fun, you know. I can't hear you, Jay. Maybe me.
Check. That was me. Okay. That was me.
Yeah.
Because I was typing. Okay. I love that because, so that's a perfect example of software stuff, you know, can sound, somebody's like, oh, that's boring. No, it's not. Not even close.
Yeah.
And I want to also clarify for anybody that doesn't know. So VIN decoding, basically when you go to take your mobile app and you go to scan the VIN and it doesn't work, right? Who's had that happen? You know, you're like, hey,
Everybody.
it's not going in. It's not going in. And then you're like, this sucks. Well, guess what? It wasn't easy for the developers either.
Yeah.
That's why you're doing this.
Yeah.
And that's what he's explaining. And I also know many companies, if you talk to any company, this is part of the industry of cool I'm talking about. If you talk to any company that does VIN decoding, they're all like, yeah, it's amazing. We have everything. It's perfect. No. It's going to be a no.
Definitely not.
Where's the...
Wait till you get to exports and stuff outside the country. It's a whole thing. But, you know, it's our thing.
And it's ongoing,
you know,
isn't it?
We know this thing now.
Right. And now they've got all these new EV models or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, that is a lot on VIN decoding. That was good. That's a good example. Okay, so at this point, ClearPath TMS, and we do have a question about tracking features. I'll make a note of that. Is ClearPath TMS... You say it's like a full business platform, right? Like you can run your business with ClearPath TMS.
Yes.
And you're not looking for, I'm just going to say it, you're looking for larger customers because this is some robust stuff.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, we're happy to bring in customers of all different sizes. It's I think, you know, we want to be a good ad value too. So sometimes you don't need like a jet plane when you're just starting out, and so the cost might not be, you know, in line with where you're at that moment in your business growth. But we'll take on anybody, you know. Yeah, there's a minimum charge and there's an implementation charge and all that. If you're good, we're good. We support customers of all different sizes. We love them all.
So on that, and that's another thing. I think we've become. It's like we're in a world where we can't talk about. You know, listen, yeah, the Caesar salad is $100. Do you want it? You know, that's a lot of money, but man, that must be a good salad.
Yeah. You should
So-
see my payroll. Very busy. Right?
Wait till you hear the
Spend a lot
price
of money
a
on
tuna
R&D.
sandwich.
Yeah, so,
Exactly. You have high costs.
yeah.
Now, let's go ahead and get specific. Let's say I'm a single owner operator, and I've heard there's some great ideas out there. Can I become a ClearPath user? I actually don't know the answer.
Well, you're going to be a ClearPath user probably if you're hauling from anybody else. You're going to see ClearPath paperwork eventually. I know these numbers that you're estimating for total cars can't be right because that means we'd have
I
a
know.
chunk of the marketplace, and I don't think we do.
Yeah. Well, you
yeah.
see the data, right? I don't.
Yeah,
What are we
so-
talking?
I mean, we alone do hundreds of thousands of cars per month. So, that's just through our platform. And we got, some competitors out there, obviously. So it's not like, I'd like to say that we have 80% of the marketplace.
So, could there be 1 million? It's not 1 million cars a day.
Not a million. My guess, my guess is 40 million a year. That's my guess.
All right, but what's that a day?
That would be like little 100,000, 110,000, whatever, something like that.
40 million
Yeah, just
divided by 365 is about 110,000 a day.
I guess. I mean, again, you're right.
But
There's
that's
no real-
pretty. That's man.
Yeah,
That's
it's tough to aggregate that because what do you mean? Obviously, you're talking hot shots. You're not talking towing, but why not? I mean, you could. And so, where do you get that metric? I think it's easier to pin down new car metric, but if you really wanted to do that, you'd want to look at what's going. Sometimes, I mean, there's going to be a short haul transport, even if a rail's coming out of a factory. So there's going to be some point where it's on the back of a truck, usually. So you could look at just the total cars sold in North America and kind of get a good idea of new cars. But I don't know what they say. A car gets transported an average of, I don't know what it is, 3 times in its life or something like that.
I have heard that. I think it's 3 to 4 times.
Yeah.
In its life.
So
Well,
it's
so let's just say it's 100,000 a day, new and used cars being shipped in North America a day. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's a nice marketplace. I mean, we always, when I describe what I do, I always describe it the same way. I'm like, well, first you kind of go top down. You say, I do software. And most people bow at that point. Oh, interesting. And they go on to some other part of the conversation. But if they ask what kind of software, I'll say logistics software. And then if they keep asking and I get to the point where I actually say I do auto transport software, I'll say, those big trucks with the 8 to 9 cars on the back?
That's
Those
what
are
I
your
say.
customers. That's the way I say it. So, and it's a big niche. Once you start getting it, like we all know this, right? Once you get into this industry, you're in this industry, you see them all over the place. You drive down you realize how many of these trucks are
Isn't
actually
it weird? I know.
So
It is weird.
5% of total logistics,
And
3%.
and then if you go to the next step, pay attention because you start seeing them in kind of the same places. There is a pattern.
Oh yeah, we see our customers all the time on the road. We love when that happens. We used to take pictures and send them to each other. Well, we used to when we were smaller. Now it's but that's always fun when you see your customer. It's hard to see when you're going in the opposite direction. You try to look at the door label and you can't see it. They say
Exactly.
you have to be driving next to them. Like, why is this weird guy in the Tesla following you, waving?
And then, if you want to take it to the next level, when you're traveling, you'll see different patterns, different companies, because this is a regional sport.
Oh yeah, and sometimes you're like, what's he doing down here? Like, what's that? You didn't expect to see,
Totally.
Like, I don't see
Then you
Jack
pull him over, like,
stuff
what are you
down here on
doing?
the East Coast, but I'd probably like raise an eyebrow if I did. Or
And then you're texting your buddies. Like I saw a Midwestern,
Yep.
a high rail,
100%.
empty, coming back from probably Omaha.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, do you know you got an empty high rail headed back on South 35?
Not good for load density. You don't want to do that. Yeah.
Pretty funny. So it is fascinating. All right, hey, so Guimel, I know I'm saying that wrong, has a question about location and tracking features. Let's talk about some features. Let's go into, let's say you're a small business and you want to go with ClearPath because wow, you guys are like the OEM kings and I want to haul OEM. By the way, if I go with ClearPath, do I have a better chance of hauling OEM?
No, I mean we
Not
don't
necessarily.
We're a technology company, so we
Exactly.
don't represent OEMs. We don't get you contracts or anything like that. You come to us at that point. You know what I mean? Now it does help, I think, to say if you're talking with an OEM to say that you planning to use us or anybody that I don't want to just say just us, but I'm not going to mention my competitor's name because it's my time on the air, not theirs. But there are other competitors that can handle EDI stuff. So if you say that you have that you can handle the technology, I think that might help you a little bit. But we don't broker out contracts or anything like that. So yeah.
So okay, I'm with you. So can I use? Let's keep going. Can I then, as a small business in car hauling, can I use your mobile app to pick up and deliver cars, connected to a TMS where I manage loads? I can do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
You're going to write our marketing material for us. That was great. It's awesome.
That's a wrap, everybody.
Like, the quick start guide. You have a quick start guide. You open up the little 2-pager. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. So, all right. Now, what, going to features. You got GPS and, when you take photos, are they geotagged? And can my customer know what's going on with the car?
Yeah, I mean, the photos are, tagged just for validity and all that type of stuff. And I guess if you're talking about advanced routing, any software company is going to integrate with, you guys were talking about RMIS. I think Cameron Reed mentioned My Carrier Packets. So we integrate with all those type of companies. We integrate with RMIS. We integrate with My Carrier Packets. We integrate with PC Miler. We'll integrate with any routing software. So PC Miler is someone we use a lot. We have a lot of customers who use PC Miler. So they'll give you excellent routing. Now there's routing that comes with the app tracking and all that. I will always warn new customers that can't be spotty because drivers can't shut off passive location tracking, but we do show that tracking, and so we have tracking that's embedded into the system in lots of different ways. But if you want advanced routing, and this comes into play when you have multiple legs and you really want to know solving that salesman traveling problem. What's the most efficient route to hit all these legs? That's where companies like PC Miler puts in all the money and all the R&D to get in that right, and so we integrate with companies like that. So it's all right there in the ClearPath platform.
And when this is another area, I think this, when you're at a party and you say you work in software and they go, oh, okay, yeah, let me check out the dip. Then you know that you've lost them, because what's happening here is API. It's just 3 letters, but it throws a lot of people off. Isn't this integration, as you said, integrated? Isn't this where your software communicates with another software that does something different but should be compatible? But it doesn't just work. You have to create that bridge, which is the API, right?
Listen, 10, 15 years ago, and ClearPath was not my own company. I've been doing software for my entire career. ClearPath, 10 years ago, you writing software, maybe 20% of it was integrated. I'm just throwing out a random number. Now, half of what any software platform does is integration. There's times so we always have a philosophy that we're not gonna write. There's so many great accounting packages out there. QuickBooks, Great Plains, Peachtree, NetSuite. There's a Canadian one called Xero. We integrate with all of them. Why should we write double entry, double ledger entry, P&L and all this type of stuff when most companies coming to us have that anyways. They don't want to abandon it just to use us. We're not going to keep up with the R&D that those accounting package companies are going to keep up with. So it is just objectively the correct strategy. Anyone that comes into any industry and says, I'm going to write all the software and anything that a customer might need, I'm going to write that software from scratch, compete with all these different industries. I'd be I would bet against that company very quickly. So we certainly have our expertise. We know how to glue stuff together very efficiently. We can bring in, I think at the early stages of our company's growth, there'd be more cases of okay, sure, we can integrate with that. That's something you use. Now, a lot of integration's already done. The answer is more likely to be yes, we're already integrated with them. So.
Well, that's helpful, because you made me think of, I'll probably once a month, I kind of get a message from somebody that says, I'm going to reinvent this whole thing. And I'm thinking, it is so much work.
Yeah.
And some of it's going to be a little bit I wouldn't do that. Like you said, you're not going to compete with QuickBooks from the ground up.
No.
Why would you?
I mean, you know, I
can.
can try as an intellectual
You could-
exercise,
yes.
but it'd be,
Go ahead. Yeah, you
you
can
know,
try.
and it's like
But-
the 80-20 rule, right? You could do 80% of what that's needed in maybe a short amount of time, but the other, you know, the other 20% is what's like very key. Or I think another way to put it is like you can cover all the major features, but there's 10 times as many of those features that somebody needs. You know what I mean? So just because you can kind of cover the core stuff, every customer is going to be missing something if you try to, you know, compete with somebody that's been around a long time. You might look at QuickBooks and say, all right, what's the big deal? You write checks, you send out invoices, you got
Right.
P&L, I can make that report up. But then when you get actual customers using it, there's a million hidden features in that software that is not necessarily on the front page or not something that everybody uses, but it's still necessary if you're going to be a competitor. So it's not a good, I mean, integration is the game, and every software developer is doing it. Every software company is doing it.
All right. I guess I'm going to come up with a curveball. I think we got you for another 5 to 10 minutes, and I think you got to go. Number one, right now there's somebody building a new car hauling mobile app. Why?
Why are they building it? Well, okay. I don't even know. I can answer that question so many different ways.
What
I'll
would be
answer
the
one
number
way.
one reason?
I gave this speech at AHA once where I basically got up on the podium and I said, it was a big thing back then about one mobile app to rule them all, like one ring to rule them all. It'd be great because we understand what these drivers go through. They have 5 or 6 of these different apps on their phone. It's a pain in the ass. Sometimes they have to use 2 of them at the same time in bad situations. Not with us, but in bad situations. If there's some yard operator that doesn't integrate with that app, you got to use the yard operator's app, and you got to use the the app for both your TMS and all that. So everybody was into the idea, and intellectually it makes a lot of sense. It'd be great if we could just develop one app and everybody use it. And nobody would disagree with that. But the problem comes, whose app? I want ClearPath's app. Super wants Super's app. CDN, remember those guys? They want their app. And everybody is clamoring to be like their app. So I just got up and said, you guys think you want one app. That's not what you want. You want your app to be the one app. And so like things like that don't necessarily work. So some of that, people coming into the marketplace now and developing an app have that, and this is a mistake. I get business ideas all the time, or app developers say, I got this great idea. And I say, look, 90% of the time what they come up with, 100 people have already thought about this. They're missing the critical mass problem. It's a great app if you already have millions of people on it. But how are you going to get those millions of people on it just because you have an app? Like that's the main problem, is building up the critical mass is the difficult thing about delivering an app. It's not having an app itself. So if someone comes up with a common app, they say everybody use it to make your life easier. What's the incentive for them to switch from what they're doing to use what you have if you're at the beginning of your journey, and then how do you get to a point where now you got that critical mass to encourage people to come? So it's a tough game. The reason why our app's out there and successful is because we have the TMS and the backend and the EDI integration and lividity coding and all the other parts that we had. And then the app is just something that's a companion to it, but we didn't come like with the, app first. And I think even someone like Super Dispatch is not telling everybody that. Beck never calls me and says, Aaron, why, use our app. You don't need to use your app. But like, that's not, he's just developing a good app that he wants drivers to use as a competitor. So, if you want to compete with Super, I think that would be tough. I think they got the pure app marketplace kind of covered. If you're, and I'll say this, I love Beck. In some sense, I think we have different customer set, but there's a little bit of an overlap with this competitor. But I'll say this right now: if you're a one, you have a couple trucks or you own a truck, and you need an app just to get your work orders done, Super's a great app, and Beck and those guys are great. So so that would be my answer to somebody kind of developing a car hauler app now. I'm like, how are you going to beat Beck? How are you going to beat Super?
And that actually is such a good way to put it, because that way you're not saying it's me versus you. You're saying there's already somebody that's really
someone beat
the
that.
kind of the
That mix.
independent gorilla. It's not even the big gorilla.
Yeah.
It's just that he really did a great job of securing. And I want to ask you this: so how many years? Because people love to know how long you've been doing this. How many years would you say ClearPath has been a serious contender in auto transport software? Is it 10 years? I don't know.
No, we started out, so let me see the best way to answer this. So I started out creating kind of I created auto transport systems as just custom projects, and I did a few of these. And the way I got like so I had the first one, just whatever luck. It was a local snowbird transporter. Put it on the website. Got another one. Put that one on the website, and just Google allowed people to find me. So I ended up doing like 5 of these, and that's when I kind of came to the point where, it might be good to take the best in class stuff that I've developed already for this, my knowledge of the marketplace, and create like a product, like a product people can buy that's a consistent product. And I got lucky that my client at the time was a pretty decent sized carrier, had some EDI stuff, and I was able to kind of develop something around that. And then, so my point is, day one, I had larger customers. Like my first 5 customers are pretty big. You know what I mean? I actually started, and they say when you start a new software company, like the VC marketplace, investors will say, are you going to go top down or bottom up? Bottom up, I think, is more like what Beck has been very successful. Like drivers love his app. Every driver knows that app, right? If any carrier says, hey, to their drivers that they're hiring, you're going to use Super, they're going to all be familiar with it. It's going to be great. Top down is you convince the executive suite and the management layer to develop, to adopt an app across the whole company, or a system across the whole company. We've always naturally been top down. So we've always been working on the back end, big kind of something that runs the whole company. And then that goes out. Obviously the driver's going to be adopting it at that point.
So it's interesting you talk about this. I think we'll finish here is that what's happened is if you spend enough time at conferences, you realize that when you get big clients, it's a top-down approach.
Yes.
And if you're building a grassroots individual adoption, it's bottom-up.
Yeah. And both work. I mean, both are good.
They both work.
What's your vibe? What are you after? How did you get your foot in the door, etc.?
And the fact is, a bottom-up probably has more authenticity to its users loving the product. But the problem,
I don't know about that, Jay. I think our users love the product. I think we're dealing with the staff level people, and we know happy drivers make a happy carrier, and so their drivers aren't happy.
Well, you're not wrong. You made a good point. The thing is that I'm going to finish with what I'm getting at, but you called me out there, and I like that because I think you're right. I may have misspoke. There's my misspoke of the day. We need to have a new category here on the show here. Sue. Jay misspoke for the day. Yeah. Say it ain't so. Canceled. But to get those nationwide clients, those big checks with a lot of zeros, top down seems to be the method. Because if you can convince a few executives to adopt something multiple location wide, that's a lot less footwork than onesie twosie at a time.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking from like an investor's point of view or a founder's point of view. I can't disagree with that. I think it's a longer discussion. I think getting bottom up, you get that kind of critical mass, and it sort of becomes, and it really just depends on the industry. There's so much compliance in our industry. Unfortunately, a driver's experience isn't the only piece of the puzzle. Obviously, you need to have those EDI connections if you want to have the contract. You need to have very solid, driver settlement, driver payroll, like to manage if you have a lot of drivers on staff, you're gonna have to have a good driver settlement module, and just a lot of elements like that. A lot of compliance elements become very important in this industry. So.
Well, and this is where, the follow-up is this platform. He says this platform is mostly for internal use within a business. So here's what I want to add. This is the hard part. It's not about the drivers preferring the app. It's about what a client requires for a contract.
We do get sometimes a negative feedback from a driver on like a review or something that, they are required to take all these pictures. Why can't it be simpler? And they're like, giving us grief. And at the end of the day, there's compliance reasons for that. And there's compliance reasons that our customers requiring their drivers to do that. And it's not the app's fault. The app is completely configurable. Anytime you take on the ClearPath platform, the app becomes something that you configure from the back end. So you can make whatever requirements you want in the app, how many pictures, what angles the pictures have to be, whether you need the AIG codes, whether you need to take, picture inspections, dot inspections. It's all configurable. So it's a very powerful app. But yes, it's driven by the carrier, not by the driver. And I understand from the driver's point of view, that can be frustrating because time is money and they're taking longer unloading and scanning, et cetera. Sometimes you can just mark something picked up. Sometimes you got to scan the VIN. This is all set by the carrier. And there's no right or wrong here. I 100% understand what the carrier is doing because they don't want all of a sudden to see a car that is marked picked up and never got onto a truck. You know what I mean? They want to make sure that when they're fighting a claim that they have all the ammunition that they need. So it makes it, I think the drivers understand that as well, but it is very frustrating when you come from a, one type of haul where there's less compliance needs and the driver can get through it quickly to another type of haul that there might be contract requirements that make the driver take long. Sometimes the app kind of gets in the middle and gets blinged.
I know that there were times where I'm even like, man, we got to count the floor mats and the manual and all. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's a reason. Yeah. Because somebody got kicked in the face because that didn't happen, and now it's part of. So, while I've created a channel to try to help other verticals understand transportation and logistics, I think at the same time, sometimes transportation and logistics has to understand some of the other verticals as well.
Yeah.
It's not an easy process.
No.
This is why when I see people arguing and getting ready to fight because of a demonstration at some college campus, I'm like, you'll never find me there. This is hard enough.
You have enough controversy in your dealing.
I'm good. I don't need a march. I won't be at DC for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to get political, but.
Right. Oh, geez. I didn't mean to.
Yeah. I'm in this industry. You can probably guess where I stand. I'll just say that.
I think that I'm a libertarian, and we don't have anybody in office for that. So, once again, alone.
Well, you think RFK is gonna drop out and endorse Trump tomorrow? That's what the rumors are.
Who is?
Well, I think Robert Kennedy Jr., right?
Oh, I know. I saw that headline.
Yeah, so I think he's considered a libertarian candidate, and I believe the rumors are that he's making a big announcement tomorrow. I think the rumors are he's going to drop out and endorse Trump. At one point, Trump did say to a libertarian audience that if they vote for him, he'll guarantee a libertarian cabinet member. So if you're a libertarian, you should pay attention to this stuff.
This is how politics works. It is whatever deal we can do. You think the mafia was sleazy? Okay.
Yeah. I think they say it's more like those shows.
Wait, no, wait, cut. There's a mobster. Like, what did he say?
Yeah. I think it gets pretty goofy behind closed doors, I think, when it comes to politics.
Oh, my gosh. Well, politics, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I will say this. Here's what I'll say for politics. With the exit of Biden, or whatever you want to call it, whatever Twitter calls it, with the exit of Biden, it sure has gotten more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
October came early, right? That's wild. Isn't that wild? I did not see that coming. I didn't.
Yeah. It is kind of wild times. I mean, historically, there's been other wild times, but this is our generation's wild. Right now.
Even Hillary's like,
yeah.
I'm the wild one.
Yeah, you should start a political podcast. I'll definitely.
Oh yeah.
Then I'll put on Then I'll talk.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You get views, man.
I just wanted. Well, I know. I put it out there. One of the things that I really think is wild is Twitter. Listen, I don't search political stuff, but it is loaded with anti-Kamala. I mean, and I'm like. It's the day after she announced. It was loaded. And I'm like, listen, there's something. Come on.
And it's all anti.
That's weird.
I think the stuff that gets clicked is anti both sides. So if you're left-leaning stuff, you see anti.
I'm starting to wonder.
It's like, yeah.
I don't think Elon Musk is anywhere near the neutral zone.
No.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But now you know. All right. You heard it here first on ATI. Aaron, thank you so much for your time. That was an awesome conversation. Really
Thank
good.
you, Sue. Appreciate it, guys.
We're going to keep it going. Next month, you're going to be on Tuesday night.
Looking forward to it. Very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be
Very
great,
excited.
man.
All right.
Thank you. All right, man. Have a good day. We'll talk soon.
All right. Take care.
That's
Bye-bye.
a lot of applauses in a few minutes. All right, cool. Sandwich says, "Listen, man, I'm just trying to get cars moved." Thank you, Sandwich. Shout out, Sandwich. Right? Actually, and I will say this. I'll just apologize. I can't stand other shows that talk about whatever. Oh my God, it drives me nuts. So no wonder the audience is getting killed. Let's go back to Car Hall. I think I finished all my slides. So, let's talk about, okay, here we go. Let's go into dispatching fundamentals and advice. All right. We did have a question. This is why she's been waiting an hour. Navina, right? Let's see here. Navina Petrovich. Okay. She and her business partner are going to relocate to Chicago. Okay, you're listening, Sue? Okay, and I don't hear you. I know you got your mute on. Okay. They're going to relocate to Chicago. I think they're going to buy a pickup and rent a 5-car trailer.
Hmm.
And they're new.
Okay.
Just knowing that, what are some of your thoughts?
Well, first, I'd want to know what size of truck you're going to get with the 5-car to make sure it's big enough. And honestly, I would recommend getting a small big rig before I bought a pickup truck, but that's just me. You have a place to sleep, and you're legal. And it's going to last longer. Most pickup trucks you're going to get barely 2 years out of, whether it's the motor, the transmission, something like that's going to fail you, or you're going to need to get rid of it because you're going to start having problems with it. I know the F-550s and stuff are considered commercial vehicles, but they still have the same problems with them, and I still about 2 years. So if you can get into a small big rig like a single axle, I would probably recommend that. Sometimes you can find those for the same price as the truck that you're looking at. The other problem you're going to have is, as we all know, signing up with new brokerages is a pain right now. You better figure almost 6 months to a year for some of these people. And that means you're going to need to have some savings put away because you're not going to get primo loads. You're going to deal with I hate to say it like that, the end crap load, unless they're going to do local. I mean, are they saying they want to do local in Chicago? I'm sure there's plenty of work in Chicago area. Not a great area as far as safety wise. That's the issues you're going to run into. Finding the proper amount of insurance, because if you're a 5-car, you're going to need at least $250,000 in cargo. I think the requirement is 200. Is that right? Usually, but some of them, you want at least $50,000 per car is what I always recommend, and sometimes that's not enough. So keep that in mind, because sometimes you'll have a Lexus or a Mercedes that costs $100,000. What else, Jay?
Yeah, no, this is good. So let's stop on the truck for a second, because this is, I think, part of the problem is that a lot of folks don't want to go to a semi.
Right.
That's what you're talking about.
They're afraid of them, yeah.
Well, that's now CDL.
Well, they aren't these, yeah, but they have to be a CDL anyways. You're just talking CDL with air brakes, right? Yeah.
Well, right.
I mean, if
All
you're
right,
driving
so
a pickup, they still have to have a CDL.
Let's talk about CDL for a second.
Yeah.
Because it seems like there's a lot of folks running non-CDL that are, Brian would say, man, you're overweight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where's that line? 3 cars, 4 cars?
3, and that's pushing it, because if you figure, okay, so on the non-CDL, you have to be under 26,001 pound. That's not just the cars you have on there. That's your truck, trailer, and the cars you have on there. And and the fuel you have in your truck, or the fuel that are in those cars. So that weight that we look up for curb weight may not be totally accurate either. I don't work with non-CDL drivers just for that reason alone. It's hard to make money when you've got to keep your cars down at a certain limit and they don't pay anything. I mean, you know how that works too. It just sucks. And definitely, I'm recommending to everybody when you're starting out, if you're a 3-car, put on flip outs. If you get a winch, you got to have something that's a little bit different than other people out there when you're starting out and you're brand new. Just to have something extra to be able to get different loads that other people can't take. And winch loads suck most of the time, but it's something that you can offer that somebody else doesn't have out there. So keep that in mind. And if you put your extensions, if you have a 3-car wedge and you put extensions 3 foot on the front, 3 foot on the back, most of the time you can carry 4. So keep that in mind. But non-CDL, I mean, they're getting pulled over left and right lately too. It's like they're out to get these guys. So it's really hard if you get shut down and you start getting dings against your FMCSA rating, your safety rating. Once your rating goes a certain way, you're not getting loads for any major broker either. So I recommend you going to school and doing it and do it right. If you're going to go do this and you want to make money and you want to do this right, go get your CDL, then go get everything else.
Good stuff. All right, CDL. Now, let's say we go with a semi. And because she's talking, local and long distance, we're going to get a sleeper.
Hey, because you can go with a single axle. It doesn't have to be the big, huge one. You can go with a smaller one. And just keep in mind, when you have that sleeper, you've got your permanent place to rest. And that's one of the requirements. If you're at home or something like that, that's different, okay? But most of the times, if you get pulled over and you're in a pickup truck, they ask for a receipt from the hotel that you were at. And they want it. And if you don't have it, guess what happens? I've literally had my guys shut down. They literally drove them to a hotel and told them they couldn't leave. It happens all the time. So at least if you have a place to sleep, you're saving money on hotels because, good God, I mean, yeah, there's cheap hotels, but you might not have any cars left by the time you come out. So, I mean, keep that in mind. And also, like, if you can go to the truck stops and you can sleep in the truck stops and because you have a place to sleep. Now, you can take a pickup truck and you can convert them legally. There's a place up in Nebraska, I think we've talked about it for the last several years, but there's a place up in Nebraska that will convert your truck into a sleeper berth that's legal. So keep that in mind if you want to do that. Personally, I'd rather have a big rig, you have more room, but, and if you're going to be on the road a lot, be comfortable.
And I was going to say, I think I've seen a guy that converted his truck to the sleeper, and then he went ahead and upgraded.
Yeah, because it's still tight. I mean, all they did is take the back seat and they make it a sleeper unit, and you still got to crawl in and out of there. But that's all you're doing. You're just sleeping. Because I think, don't they take the doors, and I think they make sure they cannot be opened in the back.
Yeah, it's really small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got to sit in.
And honestly, like I said, if you're really planning on making this your business and get a sleeper unit so you're comfortable. If you're going to be out there all the time, you want to be comfortable. You won't want to keep doing this if you're uncomfortable and miserable.
What's your favorite trailer?
Well, I like a good Wally Mo. I think Wally Mo's are good. I had a guy, I think that might be the guy I'm talking to, and I think he has a 4-car belly loader, which I love belly loaders. And they're not, you don't see them very often.
That's what Dave
anymore.
had. I have a video. Dave loads a
belly loader.
Yeah, belly loader Wally Mo.
I mean, Cottrell, you want to stay with good brands. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Kaufman because I know that's going to be one of the things that come up. So, if you're going to go Kaufman or Appalachian, I would choose Kaufman. Here's the thing. The axles are the same no matter what. They go out all the time. I would tell you that if you're going to do this, look for a trailer that has the automatic oil baths, that you're not constantly checking it to make sure they haven't leaked out, because that's the number one thing that goes out on a trailer, and it happens all the time. Your axle will freeze up. I've had them catch on fire. I mean, it's a regular thing, and I know you guys are supposed to check when you stop and stuff, but unless you put the clear little thing on that on the axle so you can see how much oil is in it, and I still don't think that's totally, you know what I mean? If something's up against that, you're not going to see what actually is in there. But you can lose that and not even realize it, and next thing you see as you're driving down the highway is either a tire rolling down the road because the axle froze up and you lost that tire. or you're going to see flame shooting up, or something's going to happen. Trust me, I've been through it too many times. But like I said, Dexter axle is the axles they put on all of those. So it's just something you have to watch and be careful with. The difference between the Appalachian and the Kaufman when you go into a 4-car is that one of them is narrower at the top than the bottom. So that means you can't put bigger vehicles on the top without them hanging over and having any issue. And if it has the little ledge on it, you're not hanging over anything because you can't even put it up there. Let's see, what other ones do I like?
Okay, so 5-car. What's a 5-car trailer you could recommend?
Probably, I would tell you still like Wally, Cottrell, like a name one. You're gonna see
I
Kaufmans
thought you
everywhere.
liked Infinity. No.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The Infinity's awesome. It's super expensive though. But everybody's going to go pick a Kaufman because the 4 and 5 cars are out there. Everybody's selling them. It's a popular
Mini
thing.
4, the Mini
They're
5,
cheap to get into. Yeah. Except when they tell you Mini, they really mean that because literally I've had my driver that put the one in the hole have to crawl through the window to get in and out. So I don't like them. I mean, a lot of people buy them and we deal with them. I mean, we've got drivers that have them and stuff like that. But they are tight and true 5-car. I guess. I mean, you could definitely put 5 cars on, but once you start adding trucks to it, you're going down to 4.
So let's stop there for this is good stuff. When you say, why does somebody think they want a 5-car?
Why do what?
Why does somebody think they want a 5-car?
Because they're thinking about money.
They think they're going to carry more, right?
Yeah, they're thinking money.
What really happens?
They usually don't carry 5. Right. It's usually impossible either to find 5 that all fit together.
Because I thought it was 3.5.
5-packs never come in anything that you can usually fit. It's few and far between. They're usually built for bigger car
right time, so we can drop off.
So
so that's not that big of a deal. So
the true 5 cars like the Infinity, the Cottrells, and that you can slam almost anything on those suckers. But you're talking like what's a Kaufman cost compared like 20 something? I don't know, but I don't know what they are anymore. I know what they were a few years ago, but like the Infinities started out at 55. I don't know what they're at right now with everything the way it is.
So
it's probably
it might
70.
be double the price.
Yeah, I mean it could be.
But higher revenue potential.
There is. I had a guy
that
had did he have a 4-car Infinity? I think he had a 4-car Infinity.
Okay.
And I usually could make anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000 a week because I could put anything on. Now, keep in mind, I also had a guy that had a 3-car wedge. It's not a full wedge. It's the low profile wedge with a flip out on the end and the back. So I could carry 4 cars sometimes. You know, I've got my formula that I use.
At the
and he would make $7,000 to $10,000 too the same way with a pickup truck.
By the way, you know there's a high rail guy right now
just screaming
punching his radio
because they hate us. They hate the small guy.
They hate this so much,
in all of this, you know, what I'm giving you guys as far as amounts per week, they were established companies. They'd been on the road for several years. That's not what you're seeing now. I know that. So don't get your panties in a wad because I'm telling you one thing and that's not what's going on. Because it's not. You're right. But
and so here I'm going to say this. This is why I said the high rail guy.
Yeah.
As you go into this, try to view this in a logical way,
so then,
rather than an emotional way.
Right.
It seems to me not only is automotive the industry of cool, but it's very emotional. My gosh, golly, so everyone's so emotional.
Yes.
Try to stop thinking that way.
Yes.
There's enough of a piece of the pie for everybody, technically. I mean,
you're right.
If we're doing that many cars a day, holy crap.
Well, and I don't mean overworking for nothing. And I don't agree with working for food.
No,
I actually don't know. And anybody that says, I'll get you on the next one, bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, there I said it. That never happens. No one ever gets you back on the next one. Never.
I've confronted people about that. And you know what they said? Oh, I can't do it on this one either.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, I can't. Oh, yeah, that thing I said before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go get some bean dip.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll get some bean dip over there.
We'll take you out for lunch.
Jeez, man, I'm telling you. Okay, so This is really good stuff. Yes, the winch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of all the things you can add to your toolkit, winch. Man, people assume everybody has a winch.
I know they do.
They just think.
They don't
They
even.
really do. And they think it's like nothing.
Yeah.
What? You got a hook. You throw the hook
No
out.
big deal.
You reel it in. What's the deal?
2023.
They really think that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if
Now-
you're doing local, you definitely want a winch.
Oh my gosh, exactly.
Because you get hooked up with all the repos and Copart or IA
And that's here's
stuff
one
like that.
for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, if you can. So you've got your mind on your equipment. We talked a lot about equipment.
Yeah.
But try to put your mind onto who are you hauling for? What are they expecting?
Mm-hmm.
See if you can. It's tough to do research because nobody has time.
Right.
Let's say you call a repo yard, and if you can actually, get a hold of a repo agent. Hey, I'm interested in hauling for you. Click, right? But if you can find out what they're looking for,
right?
I guarantee if you get to the right person, they will tell you exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
See if that's something you can do.
Yeah.
Same thing with these dealerships, and we had Charles on. Charles is saying he talks to dealerships. He gives out his business card. They say, "Get out of here,"
Drive time.
and he goes back a few more times, and then they're suddenly, "Hey, can you move 5 cars right now?"
Yeah.
That's the way this works.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. But that's a hard thing to do. It's one thing to say it. It's kind of like, I'm going to write a movie today.
Yeah.
Well, go for it, because it's hard. You'll be on scene 1 for a month.
Well, don't you think that most people that get into this industry, they're not thinking about marketing themselves anyways? I mean, they think they're going to go out there and do this thing. And part of doing this, even going into a dealership, you're marketing yourself. That's why you should be talking to them the right way. You should be handling, like, this is your business. You have to look at it as your business, and this is the way people see you, reflect on you, and going to come back to you or not come back to you, or tell someone what an asshole you were just, to another dealership down the road. I mean, that stuff happens. That's just going back to our conversation in the beginning.
All right, Stefan family pointed something out. Central Dispatch app.
I have not done it yet.
Okay. Let's start from ground zero. I had Central Dispatch on Tuesday, but I let them talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now it's your turn. It's been a week. How's it going? What's going on?
Well, I know they've corrected some of the things. I will say, and I don't know when this happened, or because I don't go to this very often, but I was trying to find my docs, my own personal docs. They've taken away the button where you find that. My profile doesn't have that any longer. Jay, do you remember how you send in the docs and you click on it and there's your W-9 and here's your front cover to send us to Central and everything like that's gone. Don't know where it's at. Have not found it.
Okay. So all right, this is helpful.
Yes.
So you don't know where your doc pack is and you don't know how you would update it.
No.
Okay. So maybe they're in a redesign. Here's what I'm going to say. Because they found your address book, right?
Right.
Eric was talking about it.
Yeah, I heard him.
It's so cool. I mean, see, that's what's amazing.
Yeah.
Camera 1. There is nowhere else that you can go to actually, other than to them directly.
Right.
But we are the only automotive media in touch with them.
Yeah.
There isn't anybody else. You can't contact another software company because they're not going to put you in touch with them. ATI is your conduit. And this goes both ways. I told Central, help us help you reach out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling the industry, help us reach them. And back and forth, and here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
so
would love that for the first day.
Oh my God.
I'd love to have been able to help people.
That's what I didn't say that live.
Right.
I'll just share this. I let Eric know.
Thank you.
That's the thing, man. Well, we didn't have any information before the launch.
Right.
And I feel like that's an opportunity missed, but it doesn't have to stay that way.
No, because they're still launching stuff. It hasn't
Still
all come
launching,
out.
yeah.
So,
Still launching.
Show us what you got so we can help people, because
Tell us
drive people crazy.
what you're doing, what's going on next, and then users tell us what your problems are, what you can't see. Sue just said she can't see her dock pack. I bet $5 there's somebody in a hallway right now going, "Hey, where's the dock pack button?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we're here to help the industry. It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm going to say again. This whole idea that hand holding and everybody gets a trophy is going to solve problems, nonsense. We're doing it the old-fashioned way. We're going to break a couple eggs. Might hurt a couple feelings. But by golly, we're going to get some work done around here.
So I've got another thing.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but when you dispatch a car now, you can't print it until they accept it. And I don't know why.
Okay, interesting. Could you print? So you're saying you could print, right? I think that's true. I could print before I accepted. I could at least print out. What
Yeah, as a
was being
broker,
offered.
I could print it out, so I had all the
I want
all the
that.
information. But now I
Right.
cannot print unless they accept
because
the load.
when they lie to me later,
Yes. Yes.
I didn't say if.
But it's. I mean.
It's true though.
It's true.
It's true. They're gonna lie.
And here's
Yeah.
the thing I don't like about having to wait till they accept
Sorry,
it.
I
and
just
then
lost
go,
another whole
you have
boat
to,
full of friends.
You have to go back in and go back into the sign load to find the load, then download the document to print it. Whereas before, as soon as you sent it, right click it, print it. So now it's like a procedure of like 5 different things that is not necessary, I don't think.
So, and this is where I'm saying to folks, please make lists of specific things. I know it sucks. So, line item, can't print
after you
dispatch before accepting.
Yeah, and I may be doing something wrong. I haven't figured out how to do it.
But you can't do it.
Right.
The fact is, you can't do it. After you accept the load, can you?
Yeah, after they accept, I can print it.
Okay, interesting. All right,
Yeah.
so this is a line item.
Yeah.
And this is either a bug or something I want. So here we go.
Yeah.
Stefan Family has can't import dispatch seat on Super Dispatch. Let's go ahead and talk about
I've been able to.
Okay.
I
good.
have been since last week. It started working Thursday or Friday. Now, I will tell you 2 things. You can, make your Super Dispatch thing on your computer active. I don't know what it's called. It's a little button, Jay,
So there's a Chrome extension,
Yes, there
right?
you go. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can use that, or and this is funny, was before they even had that, I always just did what I did. So you go to print the load, and instead of printing it, you save it, and then when you go into Super Dispatch, you press import, you find your vehicle that you saved, and then it will send it over. Now I will say it's not transferring everything over perfectly. I think it's forgetting the money on most of them. And some of the little, areas for the addresses and boxes, I've noticed some of them are being repeated and stuff like that. Nothing major though. I mean, it is transferring though. So if it's not, I'm not sure why you might contact Super, but everybody else's has been working.
Nope, they just gave me the lot number.
Let's see here. I'll be watch Central Dispatch on ATI show because Stefan Family just asked me if they were on or something like that. Yes, Central Dispatch was on Tuesday. Now,
It says
Super-
you can't mark the load picked up without the VIN number?
right. So let's talk about let's do another one because so you're saying you can import Super Dispatch.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm going to add. Okay, nobody's going to like this.
Yeah.
I did the Xbox PlayStation comparable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, done that.
All right now.
Let's just be direct.
Thank you.
Why would Central Dispatch allow you to always get the dispatch on their technology so that some other technology can help you finish your transaction?
I don't
Why?
think they can control that though.
Okay. So there I said it and you said it and now we're going to move on. But
Right.
my point is that if you think it's just going to be easy peasy. No, man, it's not. It's not. These are okay, here's why. They're not trying to make your life hard. These are data companies. And if your data, you're talking to your client, yep, we have all your data. Yep. Oh, wait, where'd the data go? You know where it went? Well, they exported the load and we stopped knowing what happened. Oh, can you fix that? Well, yeah, we can. Let's do that. Okay, good. Because you're a data company. You don't want to have this moment where, well, I don't know where the data went to.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Now, I can be wrong. That's fine. I'm wrong all the time. But I'm telling you, the idea that you're just going to be able to switch your cartridges on your PlayStation and your Xbox, there I switched over, it's kind of weird. Don't be so naive. And by the way, how do you know your PlayStation's that much better than your Xbox? Maybe you thought that. Maybe it was a few years ago, but maybe the new Xbox really is better. How do you know? You can't just assume what you knew yesterday is true tomorrow. You can't do that.
But just like Aaron was saying, too, there's so many of these out there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's another good point. Yes. So, I would say this. Make notes of what isn't working now that you need to work.
Yes.
Then find out if that is going to continue that way, or maybe there is a better way to do things. I'm leaving the door open. Again, that's what makes ATI the neutral zone. You won't hear this message anywhere, but I'm leaving the door open. This is not over. It's not. It hasn't been finally decided. There is no winner. This is a competition, and Central Dispatch is here to make enhancements and improve what they've got. So, if you can't mark a load picked up with the VIN number, what can you do about it? So this is the next point. What can you do about it?
See, I don't.
That's what I said.
Problem.
What's the phone? How did you get a hold of Darcy? Because I actually don't know the phone number.
I just called their number on Central.
What's the number to call Central Dispatch? I'm putting it because I just still don't know what it is.
It is 1-800-928-7869.
800-928-7869.
Yeah.
That's the number to call Central Dispatch.
Yep.
Where'd you get that number? On their website?
Yeah, it's on the very bottom of any page. If you look down at the thing, it says Central Dispatch by Cox Automotive about us, and it has their address, their email. No, what is that? Address,
okay.
Website, and their phone number.
Now, did you go to centraldispatch.com?
Well, I'm already on here, so
I'm assuming. Okay. So I put that. Okay. Yeah. Now, they say that there is a chat button when you're inside the TMS. Is that true?
I guess I'm not in the TMS. I don't know. No.
I think that... Okay, so I don't know either.
Yeah.
That's what they said. I mean, they're not going to say something that's not true, but they said there's a chat button. So if you're having trouble, you can chat. But I didn't know if that was in the mobile app. We're going to talk mobile app here in a second. See, and this is where most people have only used their TMS. And this gets us back into the Xbox PlayStation. See, if you've been using their load board, how long you been using the Central Dispatch load board?
For 20 years.
Since you started working, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you booked the load on Central. And then you accepted the load, and now it's in your TMS. It's in your buckets.
Mm-hmm.
They now have an app. Why do you need to send it anywhere? Because you don't prefer the app yet, right?
I didn't know they had their app open.
Ah, exactly
to do that.
My point. And that's what I said to them is, listen, not everybody knows you have the app.
No. Are they charging extra for it, or?
That's another. There's
nothing question. On here that even says it, so I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know either.
Now there are drivers. Videos and
according
like
to Central Dispatch, there are drivers that have downloaded the app.
Want to take control?
Do you have one?
I don't have the app now because I don't usually do it from there.
So there you go. So there is a lot. There's a lot left in this launch, and there's a lot of help that we can do.
Yeah, I mean, because I've gone to their videos still, and there's nothing to show how to do any of this stuff.
And that was another thing you had said. Exactly. Yeah. It's not that there's not enough. There's resources and videos, but not enough to know everything you need to know.
No,
which again,
no,
is why
there's
I think
nothing
there's
on
a
here at
lot
all
more.
about this new change or anything and how to find
So
anything or do
Stefan
anything.
Family says he only calls after he gets scammed.
Oh.
Come on, Stefan Family. It's actually hilarious. So let's talk about that. Fraud. This will be our final segment today.
VGA says there's a feedback button.
Yeah, and Eric said there is too. Yeah. Where
Oh,
you
is
can
that on
let
the
them
app?
know. I don't know. I don't. I really don't.
I need to download the app, obviously.
Yeah, you do, and I'd love for you to download. Love for one of your drivers to use it, and then we can talk about it. Fraud. See, fraud is the new frontier. Oh my gosh, that just sounds like a slogan. Fraud is the new frontier. Fraud is where some companies are making other companies think that they are number one. It's kind of like, remember when Pepsi versus Coke, Pepsi Challenge and all that stuff? And Pepsi was like, well, but we have a new Pepsi. Okay, well, maybe. I don't know, what'd you do? Get one of the Dr. Pepper 33 flavors and chuck it in there? My point is that fraud is the new frontier of where you can say, well, we're better than the other guys. And the truth is nobody can control fraud. Nobody can control fraud. Nobody can control fraud. You want verification of that? Find a hacker, and he will verify nobody can control fraud. So any company that is giving you the feeling that they've got it under control,
Yeah.
it's going to be a no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying it. It's true. It's going to be a no. So it's good that a company's trying, but nobody can control fraud. Now, I also want to make it clear, I'm not saying any of this stuff to hurt anybody, but I've really had it with all the hand-holding and the dog of the day and all this nonsense. It's gotten really irritating. And it's time for information. Can we please get some information up in here?
Yeah.
That's why ATI is here. That's why we'll be live most Thursdays, every Tuesday. It's ATI Auto Business. Stay with us. If you're interested in information and actually growing a business, ATI Auto Business is for you. Sue, that was a great show.
Yeah.
I want to thank Aaron for a great, that was a cool interview. He was like, what are we going to do? And I was like, dude, you know.
There'll be plenty of stuff to talk about.
There'll be plenty. This is going to be great. Let's see, BGA says there's a feedback button. App is for inspection on desktop version on the side of the screen. Very tiny sliver on vertical button. You know, I will say this. Here we go. Here's Jay's additional feedback. I saw a lot of white space on that dispatch sheet. I thought I saw too much white space. Mm-hmm. Again, remember how I've said in the past, like maybe some executive thinks it looks amazing? Mm-hmm. Ask what a dispatcher thinks. And a dispatcher is going to say, what's with all the white space?
It's very hard to read now. It really is.
The font, I don't think the fonts are big enough.
It's small.
I think there's too much white space. I don't know who designed this.
Yeah.
Again, it looks great. Man, if you're holding a press conference, right now Eric is like cringing. If you're holding a press conference, this thing's amazing. But if you're working with a dispatcher, what is going on here?
I agree. I mean, that could all be, I don't know why it changed. It must have something to do with maybe the way they configured this.
Well,
I don't like it.
Listen, you got design people, right?
Yeah.
You know, and the sweater's getting in the way, and they came in this, they've such a nice dress today, and they're eating a lot of avocado, and well, we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But no. They
like,
clearly
for example,
didn't talk to the dispatcher.
Jay, in the additional info, that doesn't even fit on the first page anymore. And that's where I put like my specific things I need you to do and take care of. So they're going to ignore that.
They said they listened to our clickety stuff.
Oh, okay.
So they're paying attention. And what you just said is like, that's a viable truth.
Yeah.
is
They
that
don't.
with all that white space, now I'm moving towards Clicketyville,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want it.
No.
And,
I mean,
you
this
know,
could be, I mean, first off, it needs to be bigger for us blind people that are old. And
bigger font. Yes.
that it all
Bigger
needs to
font.
fit on one page. Our contracts on the second page, I don't have a problem with. They don't read those anyways. So,
Nobody reads that.
but I would like the additional info where it tells you about what we need you to do or how you need to pay or, you know, specific things that we all put in there for our notes to be on the same page, the first page. Because I'm telling you right now, nobody's going to read that. Most people only print the very first page anyways.
That's
So
right.
they're not even going to see
in
it.
fact, when there's a dispatch sheet and when I go to print, it says print 5 pages. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
No, I don't
Nobody's going to want to. Yeah.
No. And do this as an exercise. You look at the mobile app.
Yeah, I'm
Whatever.
down with that.
You look at the mobile app.
Uh-huh.
Look how condensed that information is. Now go back to the dispatch sheet and do that.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
You're saying like you work in R&D. I'm talking to the engineers. You had it condensed in the mobile app. Now look at the dispatch sheet. Go back to the app, dispatch sheet. App, dispatch sheet. See the difference?
Yeah.
One looks like a marketing page and one looks like a useful dispatch tool. It's not both.
And another thing I want to bring up again, because it's still not changed. We don't get emails anymore for feedback. Or ratings, whatever you want to call it, ratings. We
Talk about ratings. Yeah, what's going on with
no
ratings?
longer get emails. And that's been going on since they changed when they changed the ratings thing back in February of last year. We do no longer get emails that we got a negative, we got a positive, we got anything. And we no longer get emails when we give them feedback to make sure it went through. Because I don't know if anybody else does this.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Sometimes you
used to
get
get
feedback and it never went through and you don't know.
Oh, God. Okay. They got to know this.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't understand what you meant. But
Yeah.
when you get negative feedback, you got an email, through Central?
Yes. That's
and
no
it
longer
told
on there.
you just got a negative. You don't get that now?
No, you haven't since
Oh,
they did this
jeez.
ratings.
That's
There's
like
no
the
more
restaurant
emails.
owner not knowing that somebody ate a roach.
Well, and that's just it. You'll talk to
Jeez.
some of these people and they didn't know they had a negative because they didn't get a notice. So they couldn't. Now, granted, we all know you can't fight negatives any longer anyways. But you did. If you don't know about it, that sucks even more for a broker to say, well, it looks like you got a negative on this for this. I can't work with you. And you're like, what just happened? So, yeah, it would be nice to have those.
This
Plus,
is
like
great
I said,
feedback. And
Yeah.
again, we really do. We believe in these fixes. We hope that they happen. I'll also address the tiny sliver vertical button again. Somebody that, maybe a design student that's fresh out of college was like, let's make this cutesy little zzz.
he said it's on the left bottom. I still don't see it.
I need a button I can smash from across the room.
Unless it's on the app, I don't see it. Going through here over and over again. So that means if it's that non-noticeable, then there's a problem too, right?
And the only reason I'm siding with non-noticeable is, again, when I looked at the dispatch sheet, I was a little...
Yeah, you didn't like it.
I really felt... I thought, oh, God. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Again, it looks nice. It's kind of like when Apple figured out that there were bubble fonts and everything was real bubbly.
Yeah.
But later on, they were like, oh, okay, well, bubble's cool, but it's got to be readable.
Yeah.
So...
Yep.
I don't know. I've gone way too far. This is episode 177 in a row, and I've said way too much.
Well, I will say to everybody out there, send us emails of other stuff that we're not talking about so that we can bring it up. And it may be stuff I haven't even seen yet. And I was supposed to be making a list this week, and I've just been busy. So I know Moosey sent you some stuff too, right, Jay?
Moosey has been helpful. Moosey has sent me stuff. Yeah, shout out to Moosey. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
He was having problems with them getting transferred over to Super Dispatch, but I showed him how to do it, and it worked. So,
But I also felt, and this is where I'm trying to manage the neutral zone, that there was a bit of joy in some of those problems, and I'm not enjoying it.
No, I'm not enjoying any of this.
I'm not. I'm just trying to help. I
Yeah.
really... I really am. I don't even use it. I ask myself, I don't even know why I care. I haven't dispatched in years.
Right. But you feel our pain.
I do. I think when I said I was born sideways, I think that sums it up. They use RI instead of AI. That's funny. Industry of cool. That was a good one. That was pretty interesting. You know, these after show moments, right? I hit stop, right? And what happens? What happens when I hit stop? I kind of go, okay.
Done.
Right. So I guess I'm about to do that. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, saying hello. Yes, please send us emails. Please leave a like. Please share.
Yeah, you can send them to me too. You don't have to just send them to Jay. You can send them to me too.
Yeah, send them to Sue. And that's the thing.
Yeah, send them to me. It might be easier that way. I can concise all of them into one thing and send it to Jay for the next show.
I actually love that idea.
Send it to me.
And Navina Petrovich, I recommend. Why don't you reach out to Sue?
Yeah, get in contact with me.
And
and maybe help you as much as I can.
Yeah, maybe maybe. Instead of Navina being the dispatcher and her business partner is the driver, maybe Navina somehow is the business administrator, hire a dispatcher.
Yeah.
Right? Now you have that. Because I actually believe that some businesses that are really successful have the triangle.
Right.
Now that creates new problems. Meaning everybody's got to be willing to talk, right? And communicate and trust.
Right.
If any of that breaks down, if somebody feels like somebody's lying to somebody, it's not going to work out. No.
I agree.
So, but yeah, contact Sue. Sue, what's the best way to contact you?
I would just email me at Murphy Auto Transport 31 at Yahoo. That way it comes in that form. I can, like I said, pull them all together, new ones, old ones, whatever, make one list for Jay, and then we can talk about it on Thursday, and that way we can get it to Central Dispatch, other stuff that I haven't come across yet or we talked about. So,
Stephan family, thank you so much. We're human beings too. We just really care about this industry.
Yeah.
And I do not want to see BS win, whatever that is. I know how hard it is to be in this logistics industry, and a lot of people will roll right over your ass.
Yep. They will.
They will. And you will be toast. And there's another guy who will do it for $50 less, waiting to do it
today.
for $50
$100 less today.
I'm sure we're at $100 less. That makes total sense.
I'm like, not doing that.
And then just as soon as you feel like you're getting ahead, all they're offering is, something to eat. It's weird. It is weird. You have to pretend you're not even a human being anymore. And that makes no sense to me. We're the last channel with actual human beings. There we go. ATI out of business. Sue, thank you so much. Aaron, ClearPath, thanks so much. What do we say, office?
Goodbye, Sue.
Goodbye, Sue. Thanks so much. All right, we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.